What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Circuit. Today, we're diving into a week that has redefined the word chaos in the combat sports world. We've got the pound-for-pound king, Alex Poatan Pereira, absolutely losing his mind over what he calls fake loyalty from a fellow Brazilian fighter, and the receipts he just dropped are devastating. But that's just the beginning. Renato Moicano just stepped into the apex last night, dismantled Chris Duncan, and delivered one of the most electric post-fight interviews in history, targeting a massive top 10 name for his next outing. Meanwhile, Ronda Rousey has officially declared war on the UFC's new corporate era, and her comments are sending shockwaves through the industry just as she prepares for a historic Netflix debut against Gina Carano. Plus, we've got the breakdown on Conor McGregor's secret boxing match in Dublin and why the new testing era is keeping him busier than ever. If you want the truth about what's happening behind the scenes in 2026, you're in the right place. Let's get into the circuit. Let's start with the story that has the entire Brazilian MMA community in a state of civil war. Alex Pereira versus Melk Costa. On the surface, it looked like a simple case of a fighter giving an honest professional prediction. Melk went on a podcast, and when asked about a potential superfight between Jon Jones and Alex Pereira, he picked Jones. In this game, picking Jon Jones isn't exactly a hot take. But for Poatan, this wasn't about the technical prediction. It was about a deep-rooted betrayal of respect that the public never knew about. Alex didn't just fire back. He opened the history books. He reminded the world of their time back in the LFA. Imagine being a world-class athlete trying to have a quiet cup of coffee, and someone starts shoving a phone in your face without even saying hello. According to Alex, that was Melk Costa, a guy who used Poatan's fame for clout before he even had a UFC contract. But it goes way deeper. Poatan revealed a very vulnerable moment from their time in Mexico. He says he was the one giving Melk emotional strength while Melk was literally in tears after a tough loss. Alex's point is cold. I was there for you when you were down. I supported you when you were nobody. And now that you've won 2 fights, you think you're the almighty? You're going to use my name to get headlines by picking against me? Melk tried to defend himself, claiming he was just a starstruck fan back then. But in Poatan's world, loyalty is an absolute currency. You don't turn on the people who helped you breathe when you were suffocating. This raises a massive question. Does a fighter owe it to his countrymen to back them every time? Or is Poatan right to call out what he sees as fake energy from someone he once treated like a brother? The comment section is already a war zone over this, and I want to hear where you stand. Now, we have to talk about last night. Renato Moicano is officially a problem for the lightweight division. At UFC Vegas 115, Moicano didn't just win. He dominated Chris Duncan with a clinical performance, finishing him with a signature rear naked choke. But as we all know, the real show starts when Moicano gets the microphone. Moicano's call-out was surgical. He wants Brian Ortega. They were supposed to fight back in March, but Ortega pulled out with an injury. Moicano is tired of waiting. He made it clear. He is the money man of the division, and he's ready to climb into the top 10 by any means necessary. What makes this story so compelling is that Moicano and Duncan are actually teammates at American Top Team. Moicano admitted it was a business decision to take the fight, proving once again that in 2026, the elite level of MMA is becoming a cold, calculated game. Moving from last night's action to a full-on corporate insurrection, Ronda Rousey is back, and she isn't holding anything back. As she gears up for that massive card on Netflix against Gina Carano, Ronda is using her platform to dismantle the UFC's current business model. For years, Ronda was the ultimate golden girl, the company woman who put women's MMA on the map. But now, she's calling the promotion the worst place in combat sports for fighters to make a living. What's truly fascinating is her target. She's specifically protecting Dana White, shifting the entire blame to the TKO ownership group. Ronda's argument is that the UFC has transitioned from a gritty brand into a cold corporate machine that views fighters as replaceable parts. She claims the take-it-or-leave-it negotiation style is killing the sport's soul while the company pulls in record-breaking billions. With the Netflix deal looming, Ronda is positioning herself as the face of the new guard. Now, let's talk about Jiri Prochazka. Jiri is headed to Miami for UFC 327 to face Carlos Ulberg, but there's a massive personal variable here. Jiri's partner is due to give birth to their daughter literally the same week as the fight. In a world where most fighters would be understandably distracted, Jiri's response was pure samurai code. He told the media that he has his mission, and she has hers. No excuses, no hesitation. For Jiri, this isn't just a fight. It's a spiritual obligation to reclaim the belt. He's not just fighting Ulberg. He's fighting for the financial legacy of that newborn child. Every time we see Jiri, he seems more locked into this ancient warrior mentality. Whether he's popping balloons with katanas or meditating in total darkness, he remains the most unique character in the sport. If he wins that belt on the same night his daughter is born, it will be the most legendary story in combat sports history. And of course, we have to talk about the notorious one. Conor McGregor made headlines again this week. Footage surfaced of Conor competing in a surprise exhibition boxing match in Dublin. Seeing him back in that setting was a massive nostalgia trip for fans. Even though he wasn't going 100%, the Mac looked fast, his timing was sharp, and most importantly, he looked like a man who genuinely misses the heat of competition. But the real story isn't the boxing, it's the paperwork. Every single week, the testing results are released, and Conor McGregor is at the top of the list. He is currently the most tested athlete in the entire promotion. The rumors for a 2026 return are reaching a fever pitch. All signs, from the training to the constant testing, point to one final run. He's looking massive, and the hunger seems to have returned. But can he actually compete with the Sharks in the top 5 after such a long layoff? But we have to pull back the curtain on the darker side of the sport. First, Rafael Estevam. This guy entered the UFC as a 14-0 standout, but he just missed weight for the 3rd time in 4 fights. In this game, your body is your contract. Missing weight is a sign of unprofessionalism that the higher-ups rarely forgive. Estevam is now forfeiting 20% of his purse, and his future on the roster is looking thinner than his weight cut. And then there's the case of Bruna Brazil. Imagine dedicating your entire life to the octagon, only to find out you've been fired through an Instagram comment. No phone call, no email, just a random fan comment saying, UFC removed you from the roster. Bruna had to find out her career was over while scrolling through social media. This highlights exactly what Ronda Rousey was warning us about. The UFC is moving at a lightning pace, and they aren't looking back. As they clear out the roster for cheaper talent, veteran fighters are being dropped with zero ceremony. To wrap things up, we've got a flurry of quick hits. We're looking at a massive card in Macau where Kai Asakura is set to face Cameron Smotherman. Meanwhile, Dustin the Diamond Poirier is posting photos that make him look like a full-blown middleweight. Could we see a move up in weight for a legacy fight at 170? And finally, Arman Tsarukyan is officially taking the mantle as the King of Miami, taking shots at Colby Covington for his legal battles. Arman's stance is the old-school way. We fight, we don't sue. It's that mentality that is quickly making him a massive fan favorite as he hunts for the strap. He's young, he's hungry, and he's ready to step in for the big fights this summer. That is the full circuit for today. We've covered the drama, the betrayal, and the harsh reality of the fight game in 2026. If you appreciate this deep dive and want to stay updated on everything MMA, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a breakdown. This is the MMA Circuit, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.